Right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Baha Shem Yahweh Shah, Baha Shem Machak Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops and the elders, a great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, to you I say Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, we're going to get into two little clips here that I saw. Basically, it's from my little world news segment. A few of them, but I just wanted to go into them, expound on them a little more. Okay. So we're gonna play, like I said, it's just these two clips, and we're gonna play the first one here. Something about China. All right. We actually have that some little information pulled up in the Google thing, the search. All right. So let's play this first.
China is pushing the boundaries of ocean technology and raising serious questions about the future balance of power at sea. Beijing is now building what it calls a floating, all-weather, deep-sea research facility. But what experts are calling a mobile, artificial island engineered to withstand even a nuclear blast.
And that's the key thing right there, why I want to go into this. All right, it's a mobile, okay, because it's in the sea, and it's mobile, okay. Kind of like what's good is like the Avenger movies, okay, where they had the airship, okay, is it can land on water, because you see those the ships that carry the jets and stuff, so they can launch the jets off from sea. So the airship was kind of like that. Okay, so it makes me think about that, because the airship was able to stay up in the sky. Okay, but if it needed to, it would be able to come down in the ocean or whatever. But it usually was always up in the sky. So this thing they're trying to build here is similar to that, but it's on water. Okay, and like I said, able to withstand. Let me just run it back real quick.
But what experts are calling a mobile, artificial island engineered to withstand even a nuclear blast.
See, a mobile, artificial island able to withstand a nuclear blast. This is what they're trying to build right now.
This giant semi-submersible platform, weighing 78,000 tons, is the first of its kind in the world. It carries the same displacement as China's newest Fujian aircraft carrier and can house over 230 personnel for 4 months without any resupply. Once deployed in 2028, it will be able to move through open seas at a cruising speed of 15 knots while functioning like a permanent science base. Chinese scientists from Shanghai Jiao Tong University saying the superstructure holds critical systems, power, communication, navigation modules that must remain operational in any circumstance, and for that they say nuclear protection is absolutely vital. The floating island is designed to endure rough seas, Category 17 super typhoons, and extended missions in deep ocean zones. Its intended operating areas including the South China Sea, one of the world's most heavily disputed maritime regions.
When the so-called 12-day...
Now, let me stop right there. All right, so yeah. So that was the end of the news clip there, and I had to pull up here. Hope it comes back up. Okay, yeah, so it says China is currently developing a large-scale marine research platform named the Deep Sea All-Weather Resident Floating Research Facility. This facility is an artificial, semi-submersible floating island, not a fixed underwater base, and is engineered for long-term, self-sustaining operations in deep and contested waters. Now, I didn't mention the nuclear part, but maybe it will down below because I haven't had a chance to read this yet. So it says operational date. The facility is expected to be operational by 2028. Capacity and endurance. Designed to house 238 people for 4 months at a time without resupply. Can sail at speeds of up to 15 knots. Which I don't know how fast that is, but anyway, it's design and technology. The 78,000 ton platform uses advanced metamaterial. Okay, I don't know what that is. Uses advanced metamaterial panels designed to be, okay, so it does mention here, designed to be nuclear blast resistant. Okay, now why is that important? Okay, this is part of people thinking that they're going to continue on. Everybody's preparing for World War III. Okay, and eventually, according to the prophecies of the scriptures, all right, nuclear missiles, all right, will be launched off. Okay, so why would China be building devices like this that can withstand nuclear blast? Okay, so what are you expecting? for you to want to build this to be able to withstand nuclear blast? What are you expecting? All right, and how do you think you're gonna? Oh, beautiful, because I just mentioned the movie the other night, or the other day, 2012. Hawaii, you had these huge ships, okay, and they got turned right over. You know why? Because the tsunami wave that was coming was much more than that ship could bear. So it got, is it called turned topside or something like that? It got flipped over, in other words, okay? So yeah, you could, okay, so you're gonna build something that can withstand a nuclear blast. But in the case of a tsunami wave, the Lord's still going to turn that little facility over, little science, you know, nuclear blast resistant portable science facility on water. Can't say on wheels, but on water, right? So 78,000 ton platform uses advanced metamaterial panels designed to be nuclear blast resistant, turning catastrophic shocks into gentle squeezes. So it's not factoring in. They're not smart enough to factor in tsunami wave, okay? But they're just worrying about a blast of that wind that really pushes real hard, okay? Transforming the catastrophic shocks into a gentle squeeze. Its semi-submersible design ensures stability even in extreme weather conditions, such as Category 17 typhoons, okay? Purpose. Officially, the facility is designated as a national major scientific infrastructure project for research into deep sea ecosystems, origins of life in extreme environments, and exploring marine resources like methane hydrates, combustible ice. Okay, geopolitical context. The facility is intended for operation in the contested South China Sea, okay, because they're at Taiwan's neck, which has significant geopolitical implications. Analysts note that while presented as a scientific platform, its capabilities could support military purposes such as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) activities. Related projects: Manned Sea Floor Lab. In addition to the floating platform, China is planning a separate manned deep sea laboratory designed to sit on the seafloor at a depth of 2,000 meters, 6,560 feet. This lab will accommodate 6 scientists for month-long missions and is projected to be operational by 2030. And keep with these dates, 2028, 2030, and scientists thrown in there, right? Deep ocean drilling vessel. China has already launched the Mingjing Dream. Its first, I guess that word in China, that word means dream. Excuse me. Its first domestically built deep ocean drilling ship, capable of drilling up to 11 kilometers beneath the seafloor. Okay, and they can't even reach the bottom of the seafloor. They're starting to sound like Esau, right? Esau's never touched the bottom of the seafloor, but he'll tell you he did. But anyways, underwater data center. China has also deployed a commercial AI-powered underwater data center off the coast of Hainan, which uses seawater for eco-friendly cooling. All right, so this is China, all kinds of stuff. All right, China's doing a lot. They got the Belts and Roads Initiative. All right, they're they're trying to strip away from the American dollar, using their own currency and all these different things. But they're still part of the nations who are going to be gathered, for World War III, regardless of, Oh, I forgot a copy of the word. Didn't want to paste that. Yeah, metamaterial. All right, so. And this thing is supposed to be nuclear blast resistant and make it, that heavy nuclear blast into a soft cushion. And then this is basically a portable science lab on water, all right? Like they would usually say on wheels, but this is on water. So metamaterials are artificially engineered materials that derive their properties from their intentionally designed, repeating internal structures rather than their chemical composition. These properties, often not found in nature, allow them to manipulate physical phenomena such as electromagnetic, acoustic, or seismic waves in unusual ways. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably not going to meta atoms. Yeah, I'm probably not going to read into all this. I just would actually want to go into this, just the little thing that they're building alone. That's pretty much what's the gist of it. I actually got a lot more than I bargained for, but it's okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. All right, this is what China is planning to build, or maybe I guess they built already. I guess that's one of them. All right, so just more, craziness. But the main thing that I found interesting how they talk about for it to sustain a nuclear blast. Okay, once the nukes go off, that's the end of all things as we know it. Okay, and then after that, all right, Yahushua is gonna whip this earth back into shape. Okay, so let's go into this next one.
When the so-called 12-day war between Israel and Iran ended in June.
And I mean, you see right there what this headline is about right here. Iran is making more missiles to launch at Israel.
Neither side really saw it as an end to the fighting, more like a pause. Now Iran says its goal is to build enough missiles to launch 2,000 all at once. The last time Israel and Iran came to blows, the Israeli Air Force took out 2 uranium enrichment centers, about half of Iran's arsenal of 3,000 missiles, and close to 80% of its launchers. After the fighting stopped on June 24th, both Israel and Iran essentially started rearming and planning for the next engagement. In October, the New York Times reported Iran was shifting toward mass strike readiness and putting its missile factories into 24-hour operation. Iran will definitely need some help to make that happen from either Russia, China, or North Korea. But ultimately, Tehran's goal is to build enough strike capability
Let me stop right there because he said they're going to need help from either Russia, what did he say, or China or I think he said North Korea. All right, now when you refer to Ezekiel 38, all right, it mentions just that. All right, them, being in league with Russia. Okay, where it mentions Persia. All right, Persia. All right, which translates to these modern day Iranians. Okay, but let's keep going.
Overwhelm Israeli air defenses. During the 12-day war, Iran launched 500 missiles and more than 1,000 drones at Israel. With the help of the U.S., most were destroyed, but a few dozen got through. 31 Israelis were killed, another 3,000 injured. There was also extensive damage to homes and buildings, including on 2 university campuses and a hospital. So, while Israel definitely came out ahead in June, experts say it would be unwise to discount Iran's current threats.
I would take it very seriously. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that currently the Iranian is at capacity. I don't think that at this moment they have this capacity for now, but we definitely should be taking it very serious.
That's Avi Malamed, a former intelligence officer in the IDF and founder of Inside the Middle East. I caught up with him while he was literally on the road during a speaking tour. He says Iran, and specifically its leadership, the Mullah regime, is in a vulnerable position. For decades, the regime relied on its proxy forces around the Middle East, called the Axis of Resistance, to project power and act somewhat as a deterrent. But after a couple of years fighting with the IDF, those proxy forces are mostly dead or severely degraded. Iran's only real play now? Building up the only other means of power projection it has, its missile program. But here's the rub. While most of the missiles and launchers Iran has are made and stored in underground facilities, the country doesn't have the ability to launch those missiles from underground. They have to be taken above ground, where they need to be prepped for launch. That takes time, making them vulnerable to attack. In June, when Israel was carrying out attacks from within Iranian airspace with impunity, it was because the Israeli Air Force had already decimated Iran's air defenses in previous attacks, which is why Avi Malamed says Iran may want to build more missiles that can hit Israel, but without the ability to protect them before launch, missiles are meaningless.
To the best of our knowledge and understanding, the Iranians are putting priority in rebuilding their aerial defense capacities. And here they have some challenge because, again, they are dependent upon importing those systems. Major potential suppliers of such advanced systems are either China or Russia or North Korea. China is reluctant to provide Iran with those capacities because of the UN sanctions. Russia is also not rushing to provide the Iranians with its most advanced anti-aerial capacities. And so, in that regard, the Iranians are facing some significant challenge because they do realize that in any case they must restore first those capacities.
When the fighting stopped in June, Israel said it was willing to strike again if Iran tried to restart its nuclear enrichment program. That program suffered some major setbacks when the U.S. used B-2 stealth bombers to hit a couple of underground facilities. But Iran says it is still committed to developing a domestic nuclear program, regardless of what the U.S. or Israel says. So, while it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that Israel and Iran will start another war, it's extremely possible, maybe even likely.
And that's pretty much it for that. Nothing too heavy, nothing too deep, but I did think of one scripture that I want to grab because ultimately, I think we mentioned something similar to this the other day, where they're going to keep, these different countries that have these capabilities, they're going to keep creating stuff, to fight with, all right, and then keep perfecting that technology to make it stronger, make it go further, or whatever the case may be. Okay, so we're going to grab this and close it off. So Joel 3, and which Iran is a major player in the the World War 3 stage. All right, as we just mentioned from Ezekiel 38, pairing it with Russia pretty much going to be part of the main force that's going to take down Babylon the Great. All right, being America the West. So, which, in this particular clip, it was talking about Iran versus Israel, right? But the scriptures do say the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. And that's whatever the Israelis get caught up in, America's going to back them up, which is going to eventually get them destroyed in World War III. Okay. It's going to be like a chain reaction, like dominoes or whatever. So Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Yeah, keep creating technology until the Lord has put it in their minds that this particular thing is made in its perfection. All right, especially the main thing being the nuclear missiles. All right. Let the weak say, I am strong. You see, so Iran, like before, when America pretty much teamed up with the state of Israel to blast their nuclear facility, and then Iran eventually came back. I think it was more recent, but saying that they didn't really, destroy it or destroy it all or something like that. All right. So, but now here's talks about them, trying to start making missiles again, and it said, I think it said somewhere in there about the Israel may attack again. All right. So, that remains to be seen, obviously, but because the Lord controls all those things. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, in the Hebrew, Yahweh Shaphat. All right, which Shaphat means to judge. All right, and if you go to the word judge, you still get the word Shaphat. All right, so I'm sorry, plead. Plead is one of the words that comes up. Same difference when you go and judge. All right, Shaphat. Okay, plead. Okay, they all go into the same thing. All right, so it says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Everybody who the Lord is going to call up to battle in World War III that have, offensive, defensive capabilities, standing military, army. All right, whether it be on the sea, the like submarines or the ships or an air force or whatever they have, all those that have the capability to fight, the Lord's going to call them all to fight in World War III. Okay. It says, I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Zephaniah 3:8. Wait ye upon me to the day that I rise up to the prey, in the heathen nations. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. And ultimately, everybody's going to march towards, the state of Israel. Matter of fact, let me close off on one verse. I haven't read that in a long time. Kings, no, it's in Revelation of the East, and we'll close it off on that one. If it comes up, Lord willing. Yeah. Revelation 16:12. All right. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. All right, because everybody's coming. You got India, the land of the stands, all the way to China. If you really want to include that, all the way as east as Japan, land of the rising sun, right? And then you have further up, north back, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, up into Russia. And all these people are going to be traveling towards the so-called Middle East, all right? The area where you have the state of Israel and the other surrounding areas at. And everybody's going to be fighting over there, okay, in that area, all right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, a little various article session there. Nothing too heavy, all right? Just some stuff I thought was interesting. And I thought about a couple scriptures. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, you edify. Shalom.